Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. We're going to have some fun today, fun in an educational sense. From time to time, folks hear me talk about tuition reels. And I say those are reels that, well, maybe you just spend a couple of dollars for, maybe you don't know too much about. The reel might be broken beyond repair, and yet there's an opportunity for you well, to learn something. And if you can buy it on the cheap, pay the tuition, if you will, take the reel apart, well, then it can become part of your expanded knowledge base of fishing reels. And maybe the next time you see something, well, you might not stumble. You might say, gee, I remember when I took this reel apart, and I remembered the internal design from it, or I remember that little trick that was involved in getting this thing off, or whatever it is. And well, today I'm fortunate enough to have 5 reels that I'm going to call tuition reels. A channel viewer, Bob, out in western Pennsylvania, actually dropped them off. You'll see a video upcoming pretty soon in terms of all of the things that he gave me, most of them being parts reels. But I just grabbed these few, and we're going to call these tuition reels. In other words, it's a reel that you could find at a yard sale or a flea market or something. It would only go for a few dollars. And probably no hope of keeping the reel repaired or putting it back together again. But I think we can disprove that thing, that you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And we'll do that by these. They're going to get a second chance to make a first impression on me. I'm not the smiley guy who put out the dollars when this thing was brand spanking new and got the opportunity to fish these reels or anything. Quite the opposite. This is the first time I'm seeing them, and they're kind of at the end of their life. The only value to these reels now is to, well, provide us an education, and maybe there'll be a part out there, although I have to be honest, I have not seen any of these reels, at least in my recent memory. So we're going to just take a look at these. That's the purpose of the video. We're going to show you what's inside these, talk a little bit about the structure of them. Maybe we'll see some commonalities, and well, we'll get to learn from it. If you like these kinds of videos, if you like to learn about fishing reels, if you like to see how to service them, if you'd like to get a better understanding of the manufacturers and the like, well, this is the channel for you. I encourage you to subscribe to the channel, and if you do subscribe to the channel, please use that notification button. That will let you know when I'm posting videos, and well, most of the time I'm posting videos on repairs that come into my shop. Every now and then, well, like this one, I'm posting a video on repair reels that came into the shop, parts reels, courtesy of Bob. Okay, well, let's just give you an overview of what these are first. The first one is a no name. This one actually is pretty close to my heart. I'm going to bet this reel was made in the early 1960s, maybe even the late 1950s. It's just got that design to it. No name, so I'm going to say that it was probably a department store reel. It was made in Japan, and well, this reminds me of the first reel I ever fished. We didn't have a fancy bail on it. We just simply had a bent wire that when it came over to this side, it tripped it. In this case, it's not tripping, but that's okay. And wow, I fished a lot of rivers and streams with a reel just like this. Of course, it had a handle. In this case, it looks like the handle is not only missing, but we're not sure what that is. We're going to call that the Everyman's late 1950s, early 1960s freshwater spinning reel. Here's one that I picked out of the box just because it's a curiosity. Look at this side of the reel, and aside from the paint color, you would swear that this reel was a Mitchell 300. Kind of looks like it all around. Has that little drain cap, even though it's not removable. This one says made by Compact Products Japan, and this is an Olympic. So a lot of the times you hear things just like that, Compact/Olympic, and well, you just put that together, 2 and 2, right? Compact and Olympic were the same company, all right? Olympic, of course, has gone on to make things like the Olympic dolphin reels, and well, a nice version of that, of spinning reels. This one is an Olympic Model 81. Well, speaking of compact, I've never seen this one. This is the Compact Montere, and it's missing a spool, so there's no hope of ever getting this thing going, and it's missing the handle, and in this case I believe it's what I call grease choked. You can move the reel and the gear will turn, but not very easily. This one seems to have a unique feature to it. I'm not quite sure what this piece is here, but I'm thinking it must be something to do with holding the line for storage, because I don't see any buttons on the rim here, but I do see that little clip-like mechanism over here. I'll bet that's what that was for. The next one is also a compact reel, so we're going to learn a lot about compacts. We got 3 of those today. This one's called the Atlas, and well, this one, again, the way that it's kind of set up here kind of is an earlier design. Looks like it might be a spiral gear because of the way that this is bumped out here. So we're going to learn about that one as well. And the last one just seems like fun. It'll never go fishing again. It's missing the handle here, although it does turn. And of course, the arm that goes into the reel seat. This one is a Hedden Spin Pal. Why do I find this one interesting and want to take a look at it? There's no screw case, no screws in the side case. This one on the bottom, I'm going to assume that's how we get that one done. All right, well, if you like these kinds of things, stick around. We're going to learn, and we'll get a second chance to make a first impression. Why don't we start with this one, the Hedden Spin Pal. I suspect if that arm wasn't broken, we would find a marking on there that says Made in Japan. I'm guessing that this is the only screw on this whole face, so that this should come out. I'm hoping that this comes out. Oh, there you go. It does come out. Wow. So what are we going to learn from this reel? One of the things we're going to learn is it's got a nylon gear. Very interesting. I have seen nylon gears on a couple of reels, but not many spinning reels. Let's see if we can turn this again. Yeah. So we have a nylon gear. We have a crosswind block which is traveling up and down. I suspect that on this nylon gear is an offset stud. We also have a nylon pinion gear. Very unusual all around there. And well, let's just see if there's anything up top here that might add to our education. Very simplistic design, no ball bearings, just a kind of a straight up spool attachment, rotor nut attaching to our pinion gear. I'm not seeing an anti-reverse, and I'm not feeling an anti-reverse in this one. So there may be, in that case, nope, case is empty. I was going to say maybe in that case there would be an anti-reverse, but I'm not seeing it. All right, so this is kind of the idea behind tuition reels. And sometimes I'll get a call from somebody that says, hey, did you ever work on a Hedden Spin Pal? I would say I haven't worked on one, but I've seen the inside of one. And there you go. Now you've seen it too. So first impressions. Very interesting design. Love it. You don't find nylon gears and everything, but I'll tell you one thing, it won't corrode. And kind of like the idea. Congrats to Hedden on that one. All right, let's go over to that no-name one. Like I said, this one so reminds me of the ones that I had as a young lad fishing. There's 3 screws that hold this on, if I can get them off. My guess is that we probably have a crosswind arm and just a pivot. That seems to be the way that the reels of this era were made. We know we have the main gear that's coming out here. It'll never be repaired. We have an override or a throw on it similar to what you would find on, say, a Damn Quick reel. This one does say Made in Japan. That's usually a good indication of the time frame for the reel. But let's see what this one's design is. Well, we have, yeah, pretty much a straight up design. So we have a main gear that has an offset eccentric in it. Simply plugs into the crosswind block, and as that eccentric rolls in and out, this one rolls up and down. Again, another reel that is not a ball bearing reel. This is a rather simplistic design, but you know what? There's that old saying about keep it simple, right? The KISS philosophy, keep it simple, and less things to break, more things to go. Unless you were fighting something crazy, and the fish that I was catching certainly weren't. There's probably, maybe we'd get lucky and get a 1 or 2 pounder in the places I remember fishing with these. But maybe it's fine. I mean, I don't. Might have to use a little bit more arm strength, but again, simple reel and affordable price. I'm sure this probably was on a rod and reel combination. Probably sold for less than $10 back in the day, if you will. And sure, we caught a lot of fish. All right, let's go over to the compacts then. Let's start with this one. I think this may be one of the earlier ones. Again, I'm thinking this is going to have a spiral drive in it just by the outset here. But let's take a look. The Compact Atlas. This one's got a broken bail and a missing handle. We were just talking about that before. I had posted one the other day called What to Do with These Junk Reels. Almost all of them were missing handles. So we'll take a quick look inside the Atlas. And if you have any questions on this reel or any reel, if you leave them in the comment section, I'll try to answer them for you. Maybe you're working on a reel and you're stuck. Maybe you want to learn a little more about a particular reel. Maybe you're just curious about the trade reels that were made in Japan back in the day. Whatever it is, just leave that in there. If I can share my knowledge with you, I will. There you go. Look at this. This is kind of what I thought I would see. This is a spiral drive reel. Here's your main gear. This is your crosswind arm. That's your spiral drive. The crosswind arm is going to push the spool up and down as it cycles through that offset here. You saw a little bit of a different way to use an offset before, but this has got an offset on it as well, and a spiral drive. So let's see if we can keep this together. We'll show you how it goes. So as you reel up, you'll see this is moving and the spool is coming up and down. Very smooth reel. I'll bet you that this reel back in the day was not an inexpensive reel. It has a metal case, and of course we're missing the trip arm for the bail here. And since this is the first Atlas I've seen, I suspect that we will never find that part again. But hey, if any of you have a compact Atlas out there and you need a backup for parts, just leave that in the comment section too. It's yours. So this is the fun of the tuition reels. It doesn't cost you anything and you'll learn an awful lot. What we learned here is the design on the spiral gears. And if you didn't know much about them, you would continue. You can take that spool off, take the pieces and parts off, and see what makes this thing go. Now, the one thing I didn't note is whether this had a ball bearing or not. Most of the spiral drive gears systems had a ball bearing. One of the more famous ones that was kind of in this range is the Shakespeare Maroons, or Royal Maroons, 2000 series. And it wouldn't surprise me if they had some kind of connection to compact. All right, well, it's 3 down, and we're learning an awful lot. Let's go over to the compact Montere. So, compact, I believe it was owned by Shigeta. I might have that pronunciation wrong. But Shigeta, it says Compact Products Company, but I think underneath all of this, it was by Shigeta, but I could be wrong. Why I mention that is they made an awful lot of reels that were called trade reels. The trade reels would be made for sporting goods or discount houses like Montgomery Ward's, Sears, the department stores, under the brands of those stores. And then they had some lines that were made like, with a name like Compact, that got distributed through, say, sporting goods and bait and tackle shops and the like, or small stores that were too small to have the brand names on them. And that practice continues today. The Chinese manufactured ones, there's a lot of them out there. If you go on Amazon, you'll find all kinds of names on a reel. It is essentially the same reel, maybe a difference in body color or the like. This one is a nice battleship gray. I wish we had the spool and the handle. I'd love to give it a try. All right, we took the 3 screws out. Let's see what we have. Big old main gear. Surprise! There you go. I think I just learned something again. We have another nylon gear. Wow. What's the chances, right? Very dirty nylon gear. That gear has got an interesting set here now. Remember on the other two, what we saw a reel that had a main gear with a stud on it going into a track for the oscillation. This one is the opposite. This one has the track on that main gear and the stud coming through the assembly here. So a different approach and kind of fun. All right. Guess I got to move that up and down till I get it in the slot there. Note to self. Problem with this one is this gear, for some reason this gear is locked in. Let's see if we can do that one more time. I'd like to keep these together at least for now. Okay, I'm just going to put that aside for the sake of the video running into everybody watching me fumble, which is all right. This is the one that looks like the Mitchell 300, even down to those 2 mounting screws. Let's take a look at those. This is the Olympic Model 81, and again, another example. It says by the Compact Auto Company. So Compact, I think I saw somewhere along the line that it was by Shigeta. I could be wrong, but under itself, it looks like it's also made the Olympic brand. I like the Olympic reels a lot. I think they were high quality. This one is certainly high quality. Let's take a look inside. Now, for those of you that know a Mitchell 300 with a minor variance here, you would be fooled into thinking this is a Mitchell 300. The pinion gear, the slider with the 3 barbs underneath, the transfer gear that's going to drive the rotor off of your main gear. Your anti-reverse is dead on in terms of one of the setups for that anti-reverse is frozen here. It does appear to be missing the oscillation gear. I'll bet you if I pulled one off of a Mitchell 300, it probably would work. There should be a gear sitting on here that intersects with this one that drives this one. So right now, I'll bet you we don't have oscillation on this because, well, we're missing that gear. So if we turn this, yeah, we're not going anywhere because, well, we're missing those pieces. Even the side plate screws look like that. Well, this isn't the most close rip-off of the Mitchell. That actually belongs to a Mitchell 300 look-alike called the International. And that one is so close, you can use the Mitchell parts in any of the positions and it will work. I guess patent and IP property rights and everything, particularly after the company went out of business, well, they were either ignored or abused or compromised. I think this is an example of that. And again, the telltale side was the other side of this reel. But I wonder if they made it just different enough that there wasn't an exact copy of the reel. Regardless, we learned a lot. And that's the idea behind tuition reels. It's to go in and explore. We saw 3 or 4 different types of drives for the oscillation system. The Mitchell 300, or in this case the Olympic 81, uses a transfer system off your main gear. This one used the groove in the main gear, and a nylon gear at that, to work that. The one here was a spiral gear drive, and this one probably the simplest of all. It had a stud on the main gear. So if nothing else, we got a little bit of an education into how reels work, differences in design, and well, differences in manufacture as well. Let's try this one more time. I just set that ramp to the low position. There we go. Now we got the case on, and I can put these back. So that's what I mean when I say go use some of your money, pay the tuition. I'll bet you if you found these at flea markets today, you probably wouldn't pay more than $2 or $3 for any one of these. And wow, what you can learn. Fun in design, different designs, different manufacturers, although all of these seem to have been made in Japan. Fun features like this little, what I'm going to say is the line hold when it's not in use. And I guess you'll also find, as we did in the other video the other night, is they're all missing handles. Go figure. Well, I've enjoyed learning. I've enjoyed telling you a little bit about what you can find out in tuition reels. I encourage you to go do that. Before I leave, I want to thank our first responders, our police, safety, fire, rescue, and everybody involved in our public safety for everything it is that they do, the career choices they've made, and the support that they lend in keeping us safe and healthy. I also want to thank you, the viewer, for watching, for dedicating the time that you've spent here watching the channel, and for, well, making it what it is through your comments, through your likes of the videos, and through your requests in terms of maybe how to make a reel get a second chance. I want to wish everybody a great day on the water, great fun with your friends and family fishing, and, well, the enjoyment of fishing reel service and repair. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Have a great day.